percentage of a producer depends. It's considered to be more or less 15 or 20%. And the relationships with the director is, as I said, really, is a gynecologist. Really. And knowing and accepting that at the end, most directors hate you. And you have to accept it. It's normal.
There's, I mean, it's a big difference if the director is bringing the almost ready project to you and you're just helping to get this money, or if you are developing in your production company as a creative producer the project and then you select someone from the gas station to be the director, and then of course depends on the project, you know, how much it's a production company's project, but in the cases, you know, director has brought me the project, if I like the project, it's very important to me that also director is getting enough money and the percentage and all of this, because I have this director background, and I also feel it's important to support them strongly, even that they don't realize it, you know, that they just think that it's normal, but it's not really always, you know. But yeah, it depends on the project, of course.
Yeah, it depends on the project. One concrete example, a film that about Scottish storytellers I'm involved with now as a producer. I make no money at all. I'd sort of just donated my last year of my time, but not every day, obviously, advice, and with the expectation that now that it's finished, there will be television sales, because it was made without television money, a $300,000 film without a dollar of television, and I'll get 15 or 20% of the profits, and generally there won't be any profits, so I just did it as a charitable kind of thing. But other times I do a kind of flat deal as a producer, and I get 20,000 euros for my work, and sometimes that's no work, and sometimes it's lots of work. And then there's, in Canada, a kind of regulation within the funding agencies that the producer can't take more than 10%, but then one finds that if your production houses can take overhead, which helps keep your office running, so as a kind of individual, as opposed to your production company, there are different ways you can sort of keep yourself supported between projects, usually through development money for other projects. As you were saying, you have to have a lot of projects. I think I have a theory of 6. You have to be working on 6 projects at once, because some of them will be dying, and some of them will be shooting, and some of them will be incompletion or distribution. So you have to be juggling many different projects.
And also sometimes I'm producing, for instance, a film now that is not funded at all. The theme is why revolution now, and it's with a French poet, and it cannot be funded. Not because I didn't even try, because if I tried to fund it, the film will not be good. So it's impossible. It doesn't work together. You make first the film, and then you hope to get back some money if you can. And that's it. There are some subjects we cannot fund. Doesn't mean you do not do them.
You had a question?
Hi, thank you for coming, and thank you for your energy and your work and inspiration. My question is, in the process of making a documentary, the script, it works in a different way than it works in a film, in a regular film. How, since we're documenting life and real events, how do we get, how attached we are with the script, or if we let unpredictable things happen? Like, what's your relationship with the script? How scripted a documentary is? if like, do you design the scenes and like what you want to?
It varies. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're going out to follow someone and you're, it's I guess what you call direct cinema or cinema verite. There, I mean, you can basically the only time you really need a script in this type of filmmaking is to convince people, to explain to people what you're doing before you do it, so that then you can try to raise some money. So as far as scripting a documentary like that, there isn't much to script. You can basically project what you'd like to happen and the issues that you'd like to deal with, and why you're following whatever you're following and why you're trying to develop that. Of course, there are other documentaries that are made that are totally scripted and written. So it really depends on
the theme,
what you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm of the belief that you shouldn't script. You should have two scripts, we'll say, this kind of script in your mind, and then the script, which is a bunch of lies that you have to show to funders and funding agencies and broadcasters to pretend that you know what you're doing. So, like, I'm helping to produce a film about the Islamic punk music phenomena, which is really just a kind of challenge to orthodoxy. And we have a very beautiful, you can look at it later, or I can send it to you. I'll leave all my business cards. I can send you all samples of the kinds of beautifully packaged scripts or proposals, essentially, which sometimes is an indication of really what the film will be. But I'm really of the Joe Berlinger kind of theory is that you do your research while you're shooting, and you might have to script something in terms of. My idea of script is that it's the editing process, it's the scripting process. And I feel that there's a lot of the industry of kind of documentary education really puts a lot of emphasis on trying to do workshops about scripting documentary. I find this all over Europe, and I generally find them kind of partly a waste of time, but partly a good thing in terms of trying to clarify your own ideas. But I think the script should remain in the mind, essentially.
Έχουμε μια ερώτηση κάτω εδώ.